In March of 2008, the National Wild Turkey Federation turns 35. What a fantastic ride it's been. Anniversaries are a time to remember and rejoice. And thanks to this family, the Federation's members, chapters, volunteers, partners, and supporters, we've got plenty of reasons to celebrate. Together, we've blazed a trail on behalf of our mission, conservation of the wild turkey and preservation of our hunting heritage. The numbers tell the tale. When the Federation was founded in 1973, there were just over 1 million wild turkeys in the United States. Only 39 states had a wild turkey season, and about 1.5 million people hunted turkeys. Today, there are over 7 million wild turkeys and huntable populations in 49 states, Canada, and Mexico. And about 3 million hunters pursue this wily game bird each year. This family, with our partners, made all that happen through your dedication and hard work. NWTF members, which numbered only 1,200 in 1973 and now surpass the 550,000 mark, share a passion for wildlife conservation that is unmatched by any other conservation organization. For the last 35 years, we've been stirring up a lot of excitement with tremendous results, finding a place for everyone from all walks of life to plug in to conservation. From the moment the Federation began, this organization was destined to do great things, and it has. 1973, the National Wild Turkey Federation is founded in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and moves to Edgefield, South Carolina shortly after that. Members receive their first copy of Turkey Call, a magazine that still entertains and informs members today. 1974, the NWTF's first 3 state chapters are formed in South Carolina, Georgia, and Kentucky. The expansion of our chapter system across North America has been one of the keys to our success. Today, we stand at more than 2,350 chapters, and growing. The formation of the Technical Committee in 1975 was also a milestone. The Technical Committee, whose original makeup consisted of wild turkey biologists from 35 states, today consists of representatives from 49 states and Canada that make recommendations to guide the Federation's management efforts across the country. Another early accomplishment was the Federation's first annual convention and Grand National Calling Championship in 1977. We've come a long way since that first year when 2,000 wild turkey enthusiasts attended. This year, we expect that number to be more like 40,000. During the 1980s, Federation growth in terms of member numbers and programs was explosive. In 1983, the first Wild Turkey Super Fund membership banquet was held in Atlanta. Just 25 years later, the number of banquets has grown to over 2,300. As the need for membership services grew, so did the Federation's need for staff and building space. To accommodate a growing membership and banquet program, the NWTF has expanded its campus through the years. We've moved from our cramped quarters in a downstairs office on the Courthouse Square to the beautiful facility we're in today. 1980, Phase 1 of the Wild Turkey Center is completed. Phase 2 expands the building by 7,200 square feet. Phase 3 wraps up in 1997, adding 21,000 square feet of new offices, warehouse space, and the Winchester Museum. In 2004, Phase 4 adds a new 3-story office building, 65,000 more square feet of warehouse storage, and doubles the size of the Winchester Museum. Although each year has had its share of successes, 1982 was a defining moment in the Federation's history. The year we launched our first outreach effort, which was designed to introduce children to the great outdoors. And through the years, the JAKES program has reached millions of young people through our magazine, events, education boxes, and more. 1985 saw the formation of the Wild Turkey Super Fund. This pool of money from funds raised at hunting heritage banquets, donated by corporate sponsors, and given to benefit wildlife conservation, proved to be what set the Federation apart from the rest of the pack. It allowed states to dedicate funds to top priority projects. For many back then, it was wild turkey restoration. For some, it was habitat improvement or hunter safety tools. Super fund spending on a national level has allowed the NWTF to fund research projects to answer questions regarding poult survival, habitat needs, mortality, and much more. Fast forward 23 years, and the Federation and its cooperators have spent $258 million through what is now called the Hunting Heritage Superfund, in support of projects benefiting wild turkeys and our hunting heritage. In addition, NWTF's wide-ranging programs for public, private, and corporate landowners allowed the Federation to enhance over 13 million acres of wildlife habitat to date. Contributions to the Hunting Heritage Superfund continue to be robust, while spending for state and national projects also remains strong. While today we're making great strides in protecting our hunting heritage, the Federation made its name helping our agency partners restore wild turkeys. Although state and federal agencies began wild turkey restoration after World War II, progress was slow in the early years. Biologists were really just learning about wild turkeys, and coordinating the movement of birds from one state to another was a major stumbling block. Launched in 1987, the NWTF's Target 2000 program really put restoration on the fast track through a process for states to work together, as well as the use of Wild Turkey Superfund dollars. Since the 1950s, state and provincial wildlife agencies, with the Federation's help, have moved nearly 200,000 wild turkeys into suitable habitat across North America. Another key to our success is wild turkey partnership agreements. These formal agreements provide a framework for the NWTF to work with state, federal, and provincial wildlife agencies, as well as corporate partners, to manage wild turkeys and other species. A landmark Memorandum of Understanding was signed with the U.S. Forest Service in 1986 to cooperatively manage wildlife on that agency's 191 million acres. Since then, we've expanded our number of partners to over 130. With all these new triumphs, the Federation began publishing The Caller in 1989 to allow our volunteers to share their grassroots success stories. As big as the 1980s were, the next decade was even more impressive. The 1990s saw the NWTF go from one of the fastest growing, dynamic organizations to the most effective, respected organization in the business. It was this decade when the Federation set the gold standard in the conservation world. The 1990s saw a host of programs and efforts developed to support the Federation's mission. Through our strategic planning process, the Federation realized the importance of putting communications on the same footing as conservation to help us unlock the best-kept secret in conservation. We're an organization on the move. At the dawning of the new century, the NWTF was poised to lead the way in not only conservation, but upholding our hunting traditions as well. The Federation's wise fiscal policy has ensured we've remained an organization that is capable of putting money where our mission is. Through controlling expenditures and aggressive fundraising, we make sure we make the most of our dollars. We couldn't do it without our dedicated army of more than 550,000 members and volunteers. Employee numbers have grown along with the membership to ensure we continue to provide excellent service to the world's greatest conservation volunteers. We weren't always a big organization capable of doing so much for hunting and conservation. We can't forget our humble beginnings, when all we had was a passion to make a difference. There's a lot to be proud of as we look back on the last 35 years. However, anniversaries aren't just a time to remember the past. They're also a time to look ahead. As rich as the last 35 years has been in terms of our triumphs in enhancing wild turkey populations, we can't rest on our laurels. There's still so much work to do. There are children who may never know the outdoors unless we introduce them to it. There is a hunting heritage in this country we must strive to protect. And above all, there is a bird, the wild turkey, that unites us in the grandest of all conservation efforts. This great conservation family that we're all a part of has accomplished great things together, and we hope to see these friendships and partnerships continue far into the next century. And I trust that you, being part of the greatest wildlife restoration success story in the country, will pledge to continue working for the wild turkey and our noble hunting heritage.